Hello guys, and welcome to another video of mine on the Phoenix Club. And I'm going to be talking today about Maurizio Sarri and my standing on the situation. It's going to be a bit of a longer one today, and I've sort of planned a few points I want to make about his leadership and where I stand on this whole Sarri in, Sarri out debacle. And the press are reporting today that the board are in discussions with Sarri, which is never a good sign. And I know a lot of people, including like Eunice HH, Simon Phillips, probably thinking that there's quite a good chance he's going to go during the international break and be replaced by the likes of, Steve Holland or Frank Lampard, I've even heard. I think it'd be ludicrous. Laurent Blanc, none of them would be my sort of cup of tea. But I wanted to give sort of my evaluation and why I am Sarri in. I think he should be given more chances. I know I was pretty angry with him earlier in the season after 6-0, but I'm beginning to sort of reconcile that I am personally pro him, despite the fact I know he needs to improve. But I think the main points that I want to address is there are two things that are annoying me about Sarri's leadership, to be honest. Honestly, they're getting on my nerves, and I can see why people are Sarri out. Okay? The first one is he does not rotate. He seems to have this stigma that Pep Guardiola told him play 14 players a season and hardly go outside of that. And I could name the 14 now. You got your two, your one goalie. You got your back four. Wouldn't even say Christensen is involved in that. You've got, Alonso, Emerson, and then about 5 centre mids, but even Loftus-Cheek not really in there. Sort of Kante, Jorginho, Barkley, Kovacic. I don't even know if he considers Loftus-Cheek in that fold. It's crazy. And then up front, Willian, Pedro, Hazard, and Morata, and Higuain and Giroud. So, again, is Hudson-Odoi even in there? And that takes me into my next point, that Sarri just simply is not playing youth. We have potential. We have a bank and a reserve of talented players, young players in our squad, and Sarri has not played them. Sarri has just not been playing these guys. In particular, there are three who I want more game time. Ampadu, Hudson-Odoi, Loftus-Cheek. Each of them, in my view, are good enough. Ampadu's played better than our centre-backs in the field at a lot of the time this season. Loftus-Cheek has been better than Barkley and Kovacic when I've seen him on the field. Yes, he has injury problems, but Loftus-Cheek should not be in our Europa League squad. He should be playing full-time. And Hudson-Odoi, as far as I'm concerned, he's been better than Willian and Pedro. He's been called up for the England squad today, and lucky him, because he's not started a Premiership game this season, because some would argue Sarri, and he's getting a go for England, which I think is great. It made my day. It made my week, to be honest. I don't think I'll have a better moment when I saw Hudson-Odoi called up for the England squad. Fantastic moment. And he needs to be starting Premiership games. Hudson, Higuain, Hazard. That front three is fast, they have good ball manoeuvring, and they'll be able to score goals. No Willian, no Pedro, despite both of them being okay in parts this season. But now I've gone through my critique, and I think the Sarri out people will say I've given the correct coverage. But I'm going to go now why I am defending the manager, and I think he should be in and not out. Firstly, a lot of people will say to me, oh, he doesn't move tactically. We played 4-3-3 the whole time this season and he's been poor. Personally, I think that's very, very harsh. He's shown he's willing to change. He's played 4-2-3-1 in parts in the last few weeks. And since 6-0, I've seen a real effort by him to go beyond his normal mantra. Play 4-2-3-1, take off Jorginho, bring on an extra creative player in Hudson, Willian, Hazard, Pedro, all on the field at once. Play false nines, play Giroud, play Higuain, play Morata before he went. And it's not worked, He's tried the double pivot with Kante, Jorginho. I still think that it worked best when we played that double pivot. And the fact is, he is trying his best with the group of players we have to get the best possible results. Simple as that. And he's brought in Emerson instead of Alonso. Some would say it's taken him too long, but he has been willing to change. And I am completely confident that he will be able to play Hudson-Odoi more and rotate more next season. We have to give him the benefit of the doubt. If he's shown he's willing to change, let him change. Honestly, I have confidence he will. I didn't see that until after 6-0. But after 6-0, he's tried everything. He's gone and tried everything. So if anyone wants to come to me and say it's boring and predictable, I'm not sure you can level that at him anymore, honestly. He's shifted tactics mid-game in a way I would expect any manager to do, and in a way that Antonio Conte would do, Jose Mourinho. On to my next point, he has got some severe problems with the squad. And there are several sort of bits in here. And the first one would be player power. That Kepa incident showed how big that problem of player power is at Chelsea Football Club. People should never forget that. People should never forget the task that any manager has coming into Chelsea. You go to any other top club, bar probably Real Madrid, and you would have an easier job managing the players. Simple as that. And in a cup final, for Kepa to openly undermine his manager was very, very poor. But then Sarri, reasonably, has united the squad. And you're reading my Chelsea Echo article, I'll put it in the description. He only criticised the player after the board agreed with Sarri and agreed to fine him. And the action was taken, and he asserted his authority, which is great. And if this continues, I feel he can be the boss for a number of years, you know? So again, people telling me he's weak, and no, I don't think that move was a sign of weakness in any way. It was a sign of measuring his position and his relative strength and waiting for the board to take action. My next point would be, he refers to in all his press conferences of mental problems with this Chelsea squad. He said it several times this season, and there was a time where I lost my rag with it. But then I thought to myself, these problems haven't been unique to him. Conte, Mourinho, Hiddink, they all had these problems. We'll be fine, we'll play nice football till we go a goal down. And the players have nothing left. So, Sarri hasn't been able to solve a problem that, granted, 2 of the 3 definite best managers in the world, most coveted managers in the world, have not been able to solve. So to say, oh, it's Sarri's fault they've got mental problems, no, I don't think so. I think there's a problem with the playing squad. Big, big problems. And it leads on to my next point, Chelsea's transfer business. Chelsea's transfer ambition has clearly declined since probably 2013, 2014. And while we used to be going for the world's best, paying 30, 40, 50 million, since the market has spiraled up with your Mbappes, Neymars, Chelsea have not kept up. And we are not signing quality players. You know, we've gone from signing, Michael Ballack, Andrei Shevchenko, the best players in the world, to Ross Barkley, Danny Drinkwater, Davide Zappacosta. And to compare Sarri to people like Luis Felipe Scolari, who had basically a blank check for players, to compare him to Avram Grant, compare him to Villas-Boas, no. Those guys had a much, much simpler job than Sarri did. Much, much better dressing room. And Sarri has crucially not lost the dressing room. They've kept fighting for him. You can see it in the players' faces. Eden Hazard's doing it himself. Jorginho's doing his best. Loftus-Cheek. You can see the pain in the players' faces. They believe in Sarri. Sarri's united them, and yes, the results aren't great. They're not great. Losing to Everton, drawing to Wolves, it isn't good enough. But Pep didn't have a great first season at City. People like to compare that. This is worse than that season. I'll grant you that. Jose's first season at United, they came 6th, but they won the Europa League. I'm convinced we can do the same. Slavia Prague, Frankfurt and Benfica. And you never know, we could get to the final on the basis of Napoli or Arsenal bottling it. I'm convinced we could definitely do one of those two teams in the final. Sarri in big games, definitely at home, and since he changed for the City Cup final, we've looked good in cup finals. Why is everyone saying that we're out of this top 4 race? This is my argument. We're still well in the race for top 4. Still well in the race for the Europa League. We could still plausibly get both. So why people are telling me that we've got to sack Sarri, I'm not sure. Yes, we could miss Champions League football. Would I blame Sarri for that? Yes, in part. Yes, in part. He changed too late. I'll grant any Sarri hate to that. But is it mainly Sarri's fault? Or even half Sarri's fault? No. Absolutely not. The board, the players need to change. Sarri is doing his best to tell the board that. There are mental problems. There are problems with signings. Conte said it. He begged for new signings. Mourinho did it. He got Gillabogi instead of Stones. The club are just not... They've improved a bit with Sarri. They've given him Jorginho, given him Higuain. But even that Higuain deal, Melanget Piatek, probably the best young striker in Europe at the moment. So, just before the whole Sarri out brigade sort of gets all on social media, I want to give you a case for why Sarri should stay. And I think I've done that in this video. He has had the potential to change after a 6-0 drubbing at the Etihad. We come back in the cup final, very, very unlucky to lose, beat Tottenham, progress through 2 rounds of Europa League. We're still very much in that competition. Give the man a chance. At the end of the season, if it doesn't improve, we're not in Champions League. We've got the transfer ban. Feel free to say, do you know what? Sarri ball won't work with this squad. We're not getting anyone in, and these players aren't good enough for him. Feel free to want him out. Honestly, I won't. I'll try and back him. I was against him, but since he's shown change, I want him to stay. And I think, to be honest, despite these stories, Marina will keep him because her pride is at stake here. She appointed him, and she will look bad should he be sacked. He needs a director of football to direct transfer business, advise Marina, pick good eggs from bad. Very, very important. And he needs new players, an overhaul of this squad, get Deadwood out like Marcus Alonso. Kovacic, in my view, I'm not that happy with him. Giroud, Firmino has to go. And once we get rid of these guys, play some youth, Sarri, rotate the team more, play more than 14 players, and you will be fine in the Premiership. You will be a success. But if the board sack him now, they're bottling it. For me, they're bottling it. Because we have an opportunity under one of the most exciting coaches in Europe to become the club Roman wants us to be, with the philosophy what Roman wants us to have. Don't forget that, folks. He deserves our support, and we should continue supporting him. Times are tough, and we want to show we're not a short-term club. We're not a short-term fan base. Remember this, folks. Back Sarri, and if we do, things will get better. Thanks for listening, guys. share, subscribe, like the video if you agree, and keep up the support. Thank you so much. Up the Chelsea, and things will get better. Have a good one.